If we were on the lateral side, let me point some of these structures out that we had talked about earlier. Here's the lateral malleolus. Then we come to the tubercle of the fifth. See how obvious that is? And then just posterior and medial to that is going to be this huge flat bone, the cuboid. On the medial side, we have the medial malleolus. Straight down, we go feel the talus, and then the last bone we feel is that sustentaculum tali. Do you see how that is a huge extension of the calcaneus to sustain or hold up the talus? Hence the term sustain, or to hold up the talus. Sustentaculum tali. Then either going straight down and distal or going obliquely, we feel this huge tubercle. That's the tubercle of the navicular bone. And then I told you, don't worry too much about the first, second, and third cuneiforms, but be able to palpate the metatarsals and phalanges. On the anterior side, we looked at the dome of the talus. You can actually pull this out and see this huge dome here. We are looking at the ridges of the dome. The reason we need to palpate the ridges of the dome is we're going to have the patient go inversion and eversion, and we're going to feel for taloneutral next quarter. So there's the dome of the talus, and then right below the dome of the talus is the neck of the talus. And that's all that I required you to know as far as bones. Good? Now we're going to look at the lateral side, and we're going to have a ligament that comes from here to a tubercle. Do you see that tubercle right there? We didn't palpate that tubercle because it's prominent on some people and not so prominent on others. But we know if we come straight down off of that lateral malleolus, we're going to be on the calcaneal fibular ligament. If we go anterior, that anterior one comes, people think it goes down like that at a 45-degree angle. Actually, it almost goes horizontal and attaches to the neck of the talus. So from the anterior side to the neck of the talus is where your anterior talofibular ligament attaches. The posterior talofibular ligament is going to go posterior, almost horizontal, straight back to the talus. Good? So let's draw them out. Remember to put the foot into the neutral position, 0 degrees, plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, and that way when we draw everything out, it will be appropriate, because remember, the skin moves, as you might have figured that out last week from the patella. So coming straight across, here's the dome of the talus, so that must be the neck. So straight across to there is going to be your anterior talofibular ligament. Coming straight down, you can actually, on some people, and she has a good one because you're athletic, there's a little tubercle there. Coming straight down like that is going to be the calcaneal fibular ligament. Then going way to this side, we are going to come almost horizontal this way back. Short little stubby one, the posterior talofibular ligament. With that being said, how do we palpate ligaments? Hold that. We are going to start next quarter being more specific with our palpation. If I put my finger where that ligament should be, I hope that I can feel it. I cross my fingers and hope I can feel it. But I know that if I put tension forces on it, by inversion, that's what it resists. It becomes tighter in inversion. And now I can actually feel that ligament become tight. It's like this crinkly little rope, and then ping, so tightens up.
Inversion of the...
With inversion, yes. So I can actually say, all right, let me come in here, and I will go, oh yeah. How far into inversion she goes before it tightens up will dictate how effective that ligament will be. But that's next quarter. For this one, what do I have to do? Plantar flex and invert. And you can see for her, see how far she has to go over before those ligaments tighten up? So is that ligament going to be effective for her? Unfortunately, no. Have you torn any of these ligaments?
I rolled it. This is the one I really hurt.
Okay.
Just baby springs.
Just baby
Throughout
sprains.
the years,
Oh, throughout the years, okay. And then the posterior one, we would simply dorsiflex and then invert. This one is not commonly injured. It's very short, very strong compared to the other two. On the medial side, we are going to have a bunch of ligaments. I'm not particularly interested. If you would like to memorize each and every one of them, great. But just know that they are going to attach to the talus. Some of them will attach to the calcaneus, some of them will attach to the navicular bone. But there's basically a fan of ligaments. Some of them are longer than others. But that whole fan of ligaments that fans out is called your deltoid ligaments. So most of the time in the clinic, we just say the posterior fibers of the deltoid ligament, the middle fibers of the deltoid ligament, or the anterior fibers of the deltoid ligament. For instance, these middle fibers would most likely prevent pure eversion, right? Where the posterior fibers would prevent dorsiflexion and eversion, and the anterior fibers would prevent plantar flexion and eversion. Since these are commonly not injured, we just say, rather than learn each individual, let's just call them the deltoid ligament as a whole or as a group. Good? Then we have the plantar aponeurosis. Remember, the plantar aponeurosis attaches to the base. This attachments to the distal end of the metatarsals, but the important attachment is to the proximal end or the base of the proximal phalanges of each of the toes. So that if I know they go to the medial tubercle and lateral tubercle, it's hard to feel, so just find the heel on the medial side more than the lateral side is the problematic side. All right, I know that, there's the calcaneus, right? So if that's the calcaneus, I just know from there, all the way, it spreads out to all the toes, and that it attaches to the base of the proximal phalanges. So that this tightens up when I extend the MCP joint. You relax. Oh, there we go. You lack a little bit of extension. Most of us should have 90 degrees of MTP extension.
You can see it coming out.
Huh?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can see it tightening up. So all I do is I push into there. I say, okay, I think I feel it. But now I extend. Oh, wow. You feel that? Jennifer, come on up. Put your fingers right there. Dig in. Now, you ready? You feel it tighten? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't help. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Good? It's wide, broad. It's an aponeurosis, right? Give those a try.